Hello. New angels, new angles. So keeping it in check. Is it still running? Yes, it is. Sometimes, you know, the technique is doing what it wants. So keeping it original in the matrix. So let's roll here. Cheers, some coffee. And you know me, some Shivan would call it, but in the ninja bottle, you know. So today I'll talk about the Internet Explorer, the ConsciousnessContent Safari 33, and how to spell perception and perspective, and basically what this realm is: a transport matrix for your and for my soul. Because transport means it gets from one port, from one harbor to another. So it's basically a ship mind. So my mind, my soul gets shipped between ports, between harbors. So I'm sitting in my pirate ship here. Basically, this is what this experience is about. What is it still running? Yes, it is. Good. So this is what this mirror is basically. So on my way to my new goal, like, you know, you always have to get goals in life to move on, to become a fitness trainer, a personal trainer in this realm. Basically, you know, I'm a shaman, I'm an alchemist, I'm a yogi, I'm just myself, you know, I'm source. But I'm giving you, I'm the connector of all realms basically. But to keep it in the more humanized version, I try to do just to survive here. So today I talk about some topics I was writing down in my mind. So here we have it. You know, I'm going to the academy, to the AKs. Today I talk about alchemy, mind, fasting, food signatures, and belief system, motivation. What's the problem with the human mind basically is, and imagination, on original arts. Yeah, so let's just roll here. You know, normally I do these topics in a free flow format, but you know, just to keep everything in check, and you know, like, I just try to be a bit more educational, you know. Like, I was doing these flip chart series, now I'm sitting in my van and I'm just operating from here. Being adaptable. So nutrition, food signatures, alchemy, mind, fasting. If we take a look into nature, nature is always giving us the blueprint of what the thing basically is and what it does. That's what food signatures are, signs of nature. So nature always gives us, for example, if we take a look into a mushroom, looks like an ear, so it's good for our ears. If we take a look into a carrot, it looks like an eye. Also, science tells us, oh, it has vitamin A, which is good for our eyes, right? So if we just take a closer look into the fractalized thing that we ingest into our portals, nature always gives us what it does. But sometimes we're too stupid to see that, because we've been fooled with, these eyes are fooling us either way, because most beings are tricked by the matrix. It's not my tricks, it's your own tricks that you pull onto yourself, because you have to solve yourself out of your thought processes. You have to do nothing basically, but you think you chase something, and that's what's your problem basically, is that you keep chasing something. You are always and already there. Just shut down your eyes and focus onto yourself. Empty out yourself and then reconstruct what you would like to see. And this gets me also into, I have to just recheck, you know, like, because sometimes, oh, it's still running good. Sometimes the robots are not doing what you tell them to do, you know. So the problem with the human mind basically is that it tries, if there's something like a problem, because like I told you, it's basically only a quest of perception and perceiving something. But normally the human mind always tries to measure something. Oh, we get into nature, we try to measure this, we try to measure that, which is good, you know. Look at where we get. Great, right? I'm sitting in this car and I'm enjoying my process. I'm enjoying it, information technology. But still, the problem with the whole thing is that we measure it actually. Because how would you be able to measure mind or consciousness? Measurement means measuring the mind. You cannot measure consciousness. Consciousness is, like, at least in this realm, maybe I don't know how it's constructed in other realms, but the problem with the whole thing is that we try to measure it. And I can tell you from my journey here that your mind is way more powerful than any material that you could probably ingest or that you can experience. So that means if you would shut down your complete senses like this, the quest is, what do I resonate with on the deepest level? I'll resonate with truthfulness, compassion, tolerance, which is also, I would say, a program, but it's a very high level sourced program. Because if we just take it from the perspective, okay, I'm source, I'm no thing, basically, I'm dead, literally. So I'm just something which can be programmed. But you, in order to really free up your spirit, in order to really free up your avatar, you have to get to that perspective. It's on you what you would like to experience, but in order to really free up yourself, you have to get into the program of no thing, of the whole, where you fall into the whole. If you fall into the whole, you become holy, you become one thing, you become holistic. You start to interconnect and synchronize with everything, because you start to develop your outlook, your perception and your perspective, that basically everything is the same, and it just functions under specific laws. Now the quest is, what kind of laws would you like to program your belief system with? Be live, you know, it's all a lie, because the problem with the human mind is that it tries to explain something, it tries to measure it. But the belief system itself is the problem. The belief system itself is causing all the isolation, all the specialized things. The more you narrow your mind, the more you focus onto something, you start to miss all the other things. This is why the rooted original arts are always eliminating the programs which are more specialized. This is why I go back to the roots. What are the roots? The oldest traditions. Shivamukalpa, yoga, Kalaripaya, the Hermetic laws, alchemy. You know? Like these things, it's not per se because they're old, but the human mind, like, this society has forgotten all the original arts, or at least, although it was probably founded on these values, it has forgotten them. But still, these laws are always occurring. Everything is mind, everything is frequency based, everything has a male and female aspect, and it always starts with your own perception, with your own outlook. Now, if beings in a type of society do not develop a specific type of outlook, because the system, how it's structured, is not mirroring that back to them, so because the information is not given, because the system or the society per se is not transparent enough to do that, we get into this narrow-minded perception, and that's the whole problem with it. This is why I know it's so damn important and powerful and sourced what I give you or what I mirror. In the end, I know I'm basically, I mean, I have different theories to it. Maybe it's also like only a journey of myself, and it's really not mattering or it's not important what others do, because basically it's only about myself. It's only about developing my outlook and my perception, and why I'm here because I'm dreaming basically this realm, and I'm maybe inside another one. But not to get too far off the edge, I still love all others, although I could never really say that they exist, because my consciousness is sitting in my skull, in my school, in my schooling system, in my outlook. So I can never really say that these other consciousness exist. The only thing that I can really say what is existing is myself. Sounds very isolating, sounds very narrow-minded, but in the end it's like that. But still, I'm doing my best for myself, but also for all others. This is why I'm so transparent with my mirrors, in order to give you my type of outlook. Doesn't mean that you have to develop that, but I think it might be interesting for you or to you, how I see the world. So, like I said, the problem is the measurement of things, of nature. Most beings are very much not mature, because what they do, if we take a look into nature here, it's like that you can basically, if you understand it, you cannot measure it. You cannot measure a tree consciousness, a 3-3. So it's about the chi tricks, the matrix, the tricks that you pull onto yourself, which gets into imagination. I'm a magic nation of myself, of my cell phone. Everybody keeps mirroring themselves. This is also a type of illusion. All these social media channels, what they basically are, they are creating a mirror for beings in order to experience themselves, in order because this is, like I said, a transport matrix for your soul, in order to develop your outlook, in order to you're here on a journey. But it's also an illusion, because people are getting fooled by all the likes and everything. And, oh, look at what it does, you know. In the end, I know, like, it's just an interpretation of my neurochemistry in my brain. I'm not getting fooled by it. I was getting fooled by it. I'm still getting sometimes fooled by it, in order to plug myself more into the matrix, because otherwise I would be like, you know, I just observe you. But that becomes very, like, boring or stupid to me, because I would like sit here for 70 years and be like, okay, I just observe you, holding like nothing into my avatar, just going into the spirit realms and be like, why am I here in this earth realm? Like, what should I construct here? This is why I use shamanism. I know all these other realms exist, but I'm here actually in my body, and I'm enjoying the journey. At least I should, you know. And this is why I think fun and joy and everything, like, this is fun and joy to me. This is why I do it in the first place. You know, like, just talk what I think, you know. What the fuck do I know? I don't know. I know a lot, but I don't know who's interested. You should be interested in my knowledge. So, what I also said, considering the Hermetic laws, it's about tolerance, you know. Tolerance means that you use everything as tools. everything is tools that you can work with. But if you identify with that and you think, oh, I need that in order to be something, you attach your mind, you become very attached to it. So you develop attachments. If you develop attachments, it gets really hard to be like, okay, I will let it go. You know, the more you start to hoard shit, it becomes very difficult for you in the end to be like, okay, let it go, let it flow. And in the first place, it's about tolerating your male and your female aspect. I know in the first place, I'm a polarian. I have no sex, I have no genitals, I'm mind. It's my outlook. I'm pure consciousness in the first place. If I know that, the whole thing changes. But if I start to be like, oh yeah, I'm a male, you know, like I develop this body, this protection, and all these females, they are like fucking objects to me. Look at society. This is what basically happens. It was very like rude language, but society is basically a less projected plane. And it works with sex sells, everybody knows that, but still so many people, because if you really take a look into that, it's all about signs and symbols and codes, and like I said, female and male aspects are in everything. The more you open up your eyes to it, you start to realize that. So society is basically triggering us, everybody, including myself, with its separated male and female aspects to extract our energy, our imagination. But we are the creators. We are the ones who are creating society with our minds. And we have forgotten that. The power is in every human avatar, in every soul. But the problem with the polar tricks is that they extract your imaginational process, and you think you are needing all of these things. What I can tell you, I see everything as tools. You be like, oh Jan, yeah, but you have a lot, and you were giving a lot, you had like a lot of things and everything. That's all tools to me. I changed society from the inside out. I changed myself from the inside out. Everybody is able to do that, but not everybody has the strength and courage to do it. That's the different approach to it, you know. So, is it still running? Oh, well, let me recheck. Yeah, it is. Good. So new outlooks here, new perceptions. So in the end, it's about our imaginational process, you know. So developing our consciousness, because my consciousness is my mirror. Most people look into their smartphones, most people look into the TV. It tells lies to your vision, because you should create your vision inside your mind, and then you can start to crack open the mirror, see your own reflections outside of you, and develop your outlook. But I take a look into the mirror 24/7. And if you get to that point that you know you mirror your brain outside of you all the freaking time, that's a new type of perception and perspective. And it's just about changing your own outlook. So, activate your inner fire through alchemy. Nutrition is basically a belief system. Everything we've been told about how the body functions, how many calories you should intake, what kind of vitamins how they work and everything. In the first place, your avatar just tries to survive here. The quest is, how do you feed your mind, and how you feed your mind, this is how your body will work. So the quest is, what kind of mind program do you use in order to survive here? That's a very important key factor. The mind program is basically what keeps it burning. It would be the human avatar, the information technology. So the information technology is the burning engine that you keep running with the things you intake, and what you intake is basically your nutrition. So your body will be able to use basically everything, but the quest is how is your mind working with that? And that in reflection, mind and stomach equals your experience or your imaginational process. So this is why it's so damn important to take care of your energy, of your inner chi, of your imagination. How does your mind work? And it's very simple, you know, like do this yogic tradition. Close up your ears with your thumbs, close up your eyes with your pointing fingers, close up your nose with your middle fingers, and shut down your mouth with your ring and your small, tiny fingers. Now we get into the points of contact in the body. So we really feel our nervous system. We really feel the points of contact in our surroundings. And we become very much aware of our thought process, which is creating our reality. So the imaginational force, which gets into the 4 elements, is very important, because air, water, earth, and fire depends also now on the belief system that we're using. In the Chinese tradition, that would be maybe steel or wood also, is creating our experience, is creating our mind, our magic, our potential to experience that. So then we get into density and buoyancy again. Density and buoyancy, how dense is an object, it falls down, how buoyant it is, it moves up. It's the same for the human avatar, it's the same for this experience here. This is how basically the whole thing works. And it's very easy. That's at least my belief system, you know. It doesn't mean that it has to work for you, but from my type of outlook, this is pretty much like, it's very simple. It works. And this is how I perceive the world, you know. But I can only like speak also from that simplistic viewpoint, because I was deprogramming and deconstructing myself to the point that I was rebuilding myself with that knowledge and rebuilding my temple. Might also be a lie, might also be a trick, but like it seems very obvious, right? It seems very simple and like workable. So the problem also next to the measurement that I was talking about is the shape that we perceive with our eyes. Like I said, the eyes are fooling us. Now most beings are very focused onto the shape. For example, like I said, I'm getting my license as a personal trainer. In this fitness industry, they're focusing beings, beings are focused on the shape. How does it look? Yeah, the looks are important, but it's also about the function. It's also about the durability. It's also about, does it last? It's also about, is it healthy? Is there full range of motion? Is it practical? You know? So the shape makes you maybe very sharp, but if you've sharpened something, it can also break very easily, right? So if it breaks, like most, like also in, let's try to explain it differently to you. Most beings are focused very much onto the looks, onto the mass. So when we get into the mass, we get into the weight. Well, we can play that weight game here. Weight is equal to weighting. If you have to wait somewhere in a waiting room, it's also connected to your waist and to waste, to garbage. So basically we are here in like I said, in a society which has fallen down to such an extent that it was becoming a waste project, lost land. Everybody was projecting their lust onto here, and now we're living here. So, like I said, sex is basically our primary engine. We can use that to power our minds. We can use that for everything. But sex is not bad. The question is, how do we use it? You know? And what I see here is it's very much used for extracting things. Like, look at society, look at that, you know, like, just take a closer look into that. What is that, you know, like, for real? Still running? Good. What is that? You see that? Like, does it seem very advanced to you compared to maybe all the magician science fiction movies you've seen, all the fantasy work you've seen on the Hollywoods? Does it seem very advanced to you, this society? Like, not really to me. I mean, it's not bad. I like that, you know. It's practical, but it's not very like high-tech advanced, you know. It seems like we're getting there somehow. It seems like I'm like stuck up in my own tricks here, in my own imaginational process, which gets me into like very personal stuff, you know, like maybe I'm just dreaming all this all in here and I'm in another realm, and like pretty much I know about different realms. Where you ever had some dreams at night where you were getting out of body? People are making fun of dream, astral plannings, astral travelings, meditation. Yeah, where you go to different realms every night you fall asleep, but you can't remember that because your soul is either way not getting out of your dense body, or because you're not permeable. It doesn't necessarily have something to do with weight. It has in the beginning, but once you get into alchemy, you can solve your soul out of your body pretty easily with the techniques I have. Because my alchemy is very advanced. My alchemy is pretty much high level if you really understand it from different viewpoints. For example, DMSO. DMSO comes out of the paper industry. It's a solvent, so it bleaches paper. It also makes things more white. Black and white is bleach, you know, like bleach. If you bleach something, it becomes permeable. That means you solve things, everything gets transported in this transport matrix easier in your body, basically, in your vessel. So if your vessel is becoming more fluid, if your vessel is becoming more adaptable and workable, of course your soul can escape it quicker and come back into it. And this is basically what happens all night, you know, all day. So free up your spirit. And then, you know, so this is where like you go out into different realms all the time. You just maybe can't remember that. So don't say these other realms do not exist, because you don't have as good contact to them as maybe somebody else has. You know? So like I said, density and buoyancy is basically the blueprint for that, basically. Then we get into alchemy and more high-level advanced things here. So the human avatar is basically powered by electricity and magnetism. So if we flux electricity through the system, which we basically do in society, if you open up your eyes, there's electricity flowing through the system all the time. So why should it be different for your body? Makes no sense, right? Yeah, but I have to eat to be powered. No, you're powered by electromagnetics, basically. So your alchemical vessel uses everything I could ingest me and still know I'm basically powered by electromagnetism, and I'm powered by my mind capacity, and I can transmute the flesh into the things that I would like to have. This is the power of magic, the power of imagination, the power of my mind. Everybody has this capacity. In Germany, there's a beautiful word to it. It means Vorstellungskraft, which means like vor means ahead or before. Stellen means to place something. And Kraft means force. So we basically put the elements, the angels of minds, we place the elements of mind before us, ahead of us, and this is what we see. This is the imagination. This is the magic, right? And this is why I say, crack open the mirror, you see the magic all the time. This is what I do, this is what I produce. I'm a freaking magician in all realms. Crazy, right? But I cracked open a genie's bottle, and everybody can. It's only because of their belief system, because they've been instructed with the shit. Fast yourself out of your own tricks, you know? I love you. This is why I share it. So in the end, this transport matrix is basically only a journey, a waiting room, a transport matrix, a waiting room. It's your tricks that you do to yourself. It's a perception and perspective. So it's a PP, a CC, a Christ consciousness, a Shivambukalpa experience, land, feeling. And in the end, you know, if I just like reconsider what I say, it makes a lot of sense. But in the end, what is really occurring here? I'm a Polarian sitting in his vessel, bobbling all of these sounds out, and basically I should just sit here in meditation, focus on my mind, experience all of this in here, crack open the genie's bottle and be like, okay, I'm good in here. And all these things I was trying to give to you, to explain to you, you have to experience them in your consciousness for yourself. I'm just a mirror to yourself to maybe remind to you, and basically this is all I do to myself. I create a diary to be like, hey, you know, that's where you've been, at least someday in the past, your future, whatever. I emit time, so I'm only living in the own mind, in the moment, in my head space. But maybe it's helpful to you. And I know in the end also it's inspiring to others. I keep doing that in order to change myself, in order to change my direction where I would like to go, to erect myself into the direction where I would like to go in my journey, in my transportation realm here. So as you can maybe see here, you know, like life is basically, whoosh, I'm way too powerful, I was breaking things again. So life is basically a journey. It's a snake, you know. And to where does it lead you? To where is the snake leading you? The Ouroboros. Where is your journey going? You know, like question yourself, like really deep. The things you're doing in life, if you would continue to do them for the next 70 years, where do they lead you? And is the result, the goal, what you would like to see? And is that even measurable and secure to get really that thing? Now, it's important, I would say, to get a kind of direction, you know, to get like a kind of focus in life and be like, okay, this is how I would like to live. But then you get into life, and you know, life is sometimes pretty much tough, and you like, life is like, there you go, you will not get that. The question is, okay, would you like to continue? And you get like into a why. You get into a why. You come from one direction, and then life comes up and it's like, why should you do that? So you get into different angels, different perspectives again. It's like peace, you know, peace. Why? It equals basically a tree. You know, the tree's always growing out new leaves here. You get that? So that's the tree of life. So this is why you have to be anchored. This is why you have to be rooted in yourself. This is why you should create strong roots, strong legs in all directions. This is why Kalaripayat is very intelligent. Yoga is very intelligent to build up your temple. This is all you can basically construct. You can carry with you. And even then, in the end, everything that you can carry with you is maybe weighing only 21 grams. It's your soul. So that's how much would you like to compress that? What would you like to carry here? This is why, you know, this perception that you never go anywhere makes a lot of sense. It's only about like how do you perceive the world? How do you feel? What is your experience in this earth heart realm? Is it still running? Or is it making like all kinds of different technological? No, it's still good. So yeah, I'm the problem solver to a lot of illusions. Sip of coffee. You know, keep the caffeinated brain running. And you know, in the past I was like, oh, should I do that? You know, I was like, what should happen? You know, like, there you go. I drink caffeine. I sometimes take way too much caffeine. I'm open to that. I'm drinking my urine in order to balance myself out of all the crazy constructs that we're living in here, because I would like to just survive and have a joyful experience that I'm just causing to myself. I blame myself for even these videos, because sometimes they're so like retarded and goofy, but at the same time they're freaking brilliant. I know that, but it's part of myself. I try to be as truthful and transparent to myself as I can. That's why I do it. So yeah, be anchored in yourself, because like up is north, down is south, left is west or east, depends on the outlook, and right is west or east, depends on the outlook and perception. And you know, you could easily, that's what most people should do, because we basically live in an inverted system. Take a look at, you don't believe me that we live in an inverted system? Okay, take a look at traffic lights. Can you see them from here? I don't know, maybe. Oh, they're very far on the horizon. Right? But you get the idea of the traffic lights. Traffic lights are basically completely inverted, and this is the proof. Everybody needs scientific proofs. No, you just need intuition, my friend. The scientific proof that you live in an inverted reality is that you take a look at the traffic lights. Because the original chakric system, the energy system of the human avatar, is the other way, is the other Y. So you should flip the Y around. Because in the root it's red, then it becomes yellow, and then it becomes green in the heart chakra. And before it gets even yellow, you have an orange one. They've forgotten that. I have to tell them. But no, for real, the problem is that we live in this inverted reality, so most people should do a headstand. Most people can't even like erect their spine in a complete normal position when they're just walking around here. They cannot even do like a hip shovel, erect your pole, you know. This is why we also have so much erectile dysfunctions, you know, with penises and spines. If your spine is crunched up, how would you think that your penis is working? It cannot. Very easy, understandable. So, you should probably focus more on the original arts, on Shivambu Kalpa. move blindfold, because this reality is fooling yourself all the time. Do blind yoga, do blind Kalaripaya. And even if this is only a reminder to myself, I will continue with the things that I do to myself. Because I know they are rooted, I know they are anchored. What I do is, the program that I spell myself under consciously is so powerful. The question is, how can I be able to get that into the grid? This is like my will. It's my will to put my program into the grid. Because my program is very, very, very rooted and very, 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 very powerful. It gives you your power back, basically, out of yourself. You do not need anything. But at the same time, sometimes I'm like, like, why should I even like give you that? Because it's already inside of you, but you're just not seeing that. Move mind, move yourself, drink your urine, gaze into the sun and shut down your eyes. Wow. Do I even have to tell you that? But yes, I have, because so many people have forgotten that. So, alchemy means basically, we get more into my way, how I do it, how I perceive life, my perception and direction and perspective, and my process, This is basically, if you take a look into the snake, the curve, this is a process. So it never really ends. The quest, I was playing the game of the curve in school. That was very funny, My brain is like, I can remember all of these things. I can go back in time, still like pull something out of somewhere, remember that, reconstruct that. Because of my alchemy, because of the things I ingest, because of what I'm doing. So, it's about developing your perception and your outlook on life. What would you like to have? What would you like to see? This is what will come back, What most people do in the kitchen, in the chi-chan, is alchemy. But the problem is the belief system. If there would be such a problem, it's always the perception and perspective. And the belief system is putting, basically what's happening in the lab, in the kitchen, in the chi-chan, you put different substances together. And I was saying that when I was younger. Funny enough, I didn't realize that I'm an alchemist back then. But this is basically the perception of an alchemist. It all gets mixed up in my stomach anyways, right? So it really doesn't matter. And it really doesn't matter if you know that you can drink your urine, because your urine is always balancing all the nastiest things out that you ingest. Because your body is so perfect that it wants to survive. But our minds are so retarded, which means late. Our minds are not very advanced. If we would be advanced, we would not live in this wasteland. We would not live here. So only the intelligent ones basically will survive. And the intelligent ones are the ones that fuse together and synchronize the old tradition with the new ones. This is how we move on. This is what I do. I put the ancient knowledge into the grid to better the mind, because everything is mind. That's how it works. And this is why I know for a fact that I'm a key player. If in this realm are other souls which I basically cannot say. Maybe it's just all a dream of myself. But to get, and that doesn't mean that I'm mentally ill or something like, but like, how would you be ever able to say that there is another consciousness than yourself? That's very intelligent, right? So it's only about developing your outlook. But because I would love to see other living souls in this realm, I know for a fact that what I'm speaking about and what I'm giving and what I'm sharing is sourced, and it's very much important for the further advancement in this realm, because I'm a major key role player in here. Maybe I'm also the only one player, because I'm just dreaming all of this. And this is just a transport and joyful journey and fun journey of my own soul, which I'm making myself way too hard. But I try to, like, you know, like, why do I even try to fix so many things? What should I fix, you know? I should fix myself in the first place, but I know how to fix myself. So all the energy that I get from the system, I try to put it back into the system and be like, you know what? If there are other living beings around here, you know, this is how we can basically change the whole better mind. So this gets into electromagnetism and the nervous system and training and techniques, and basically becoming a witcher, a wizard, a switcher. You switch things, you know. You become an S-switch, and S is also the symbol of the thunder or the blizzard, the wizard. Because you have electromagnetics shooting out of yourself. Because the human body, like I said, is powered by electromagnetics, and you will get into that when you start to fast, when you start to drink the still waters, when you start to sun gaze, when you start to deprogram yourself, when you start to become more aware of your own powers. And maybe you should not even do all of these things, because you are just here for your own experience, you're here for your journey. And I just have to get rid of this information this way sharing. But it maybe it's good for you. I don't know. But it's definitely true. So we get into the movement again. Everyday movement is the fundament. You found the mind when you move every day, and that's also a quest of perception and perspective. This is why I told you I basically train 24/7, 365 days a year. If you live in that calendar, I train like all the time, and that's a question of perception, perspective, and consciousness. Like how much am I aware of my positionings? How much aware am I of my consciousness? How much am I aware of my brain? How much am I aware of my organs, of my organs? How much am I aware of the things that I do? How much am I aware of the other beings around me? And this gets, of course, into electromagnetics, into so many different things, into movement capacities, into minds. I told you, when I see like children's beings, I imagine that there is nothing but only the movement capacity of the person in the grid. And if you see that, a lot of machine training makes sense when they're in a rehabilitation phase, but it just makes not a lot of sense when you start to get into a more holistic art, because you would never have these isolated movements in nature. The problem is also, okay, now this type of society that we're living in, the main position here is the sitting position. Is it a good or bad position? Now, if we really get into the mind, it's not that much important, but it's blocking the energy flows in the human body to a specific way. So this is why we should basically open our nervous system up in all kinds of directions. When we've done that, it's just a matter of perception again. So form, function, practicality, this is why I'm so much into Kalaripayat and yoga. I'm not addicted to that, I'm not attached to that, but this program makes a lot of sense to me. And it's very durable and it's very longevity-like. I could do Kalaripayat and yoga until I die. I could probably not do kickboxing until I die. Because the way it's working on the joints and the way it's working onto the high impacts. I mean, high impact training is basically important for bone density, but the way it's working, it's not like, it's more, it's a quest also again of perception and how the training is is done. But yeah, I mean, is it the goal to live here for a long time? No, basically the goal would be more to experience like yourself and to open up yourself in every direction, right? So to just flow throughout the day and to just be good, you know? That's why I do yoga and Kalaripayat. And to open up my magic, you know? To open up my glands. It's not making a lot of sense to only open up your third eye, to only open up your root chakra. Your whole glands / chakras should be all open all the time. Or, next level, you should close them and activate them at will. And then you can put different things together. That's high level alchemy, high level shamanism. So you can basically learn to shut down your senses at specific times. You can basically learn to shut down your mouth at specific times. Start with that. Awareness. So become aware of the matrix grid, the matrix net, the networks, which I'm experiencing in here, you know, this transport matrix. And yeah, we get into Kalaripayat maybe again, like 90-degree angles. Angels are like where the pressure points in the human avatar are the strongest in the knees. So if we work in the animal postures of Kalaripayat, you work a lot in 90-degree angels in the knee. Like from today's outlook, we would say, oh, that's bad. But basically, if you train this posture a lot of times, which is the most unstable position for the knee, and if you become very strong in that position, if you create basically a lot of pressure in there, this is when you start to become very powerful in there. And like I said, you basically, it's about the force lines, the forcing, I'm not forcing something onto you, but the energy or strength and power lines. And this is how the human body is connected basically. They're all like power cords in you. And if you know how they function, if you have good direction, erection, and technique, you will always have more force. That's easy, right? Because you have the right capacity. You can hold on to more fluxing of electromagnetics. So what I continuously do, like I share my routine here, Falun Gong, Falun Dafa. Before Falun Gong, Falun Dafa, I take my supple minds. Listening to the Pudu on a vinyl track from Falun Gong, Falun Dafa. Then I'm doing the 5 exercises of Falun Gong, Falun Dafa. After that, I switch up the vinyl. I listen to like enjoyable music on the vinyl track, whatever I like. And I do Kalaripayat blindfold. Then sometimes I open up the mask. Then I do maybe 1 rep repetitions of kickboxing moves or strength moves, full range of motion. Like I said, pull-ups, ring dips, handstand push-ups, of course the animal postures from Kalaripayat, or I train with a weight vest, maybe like 1 or 2 times a week, not too often, you know, but I mean, it depends on the program that I like, you know. And yoga. So I drink distilled waters, I fast, I sun gaze. I'm very happy about getting more into the sun in summer again, to open up my eyes more to the light. Sometimes I enjoy to shut them down, you know. That's also a part of life. Darkness, shadows. And yeah, in the end, you know, try to find my balance, my heart chakra, my green middle aspect. And be flexible, you know, be adaptable, change routines, adapt to life. This is why I also developed my perception and outlook, to just tolerate, see everything as tools. Like basically I train throughout all the day. I approach things with routine, but also, like, you know, if I train basically, like I said, all the day, you know. And if you have a really good program, which I have for sure, it's a quest of perception and perspective, how you train and what you train. So yeah, become more powerful in the weakest parts of your body. This is also what, like I said, what I told you with the knees in yourself. And adapt your mind, because in the end everything is mind. That means it's mental. If you're very mental, if you're very wizard-like, blizzard-like, electromagnetic-like, you will always be taller than somebody who's very much focused on fighting or worrying. Warrior. I don't worry. Why should I worry about what? I don't fight you. I'm a wizard. I'm a magician. I use my imagination. I use my mind. My mind is way taller than most beings' minds. And it's not about that I show off, but it's about, because I love you, I share that with you, and I tell you that in the end it's about your mind capacity, your mind power. If your mind is very strong and very powerful, you can attract and create everything. The quest is, what do you resonate with on a deeper surface? This is what you will attract. Most people resonate with still, like, they have shadow aspects which are not purged yet, or which are parts of maybe their persona, of their mask, of their being, of themselves. And this is what is basically attaching to their mind. This is what drags them down. But because I was emptying out myself so much, and I resonate on truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance, this is why I shoot it out, this is why I attract it, this is why I am that, you know. And this is basically how the whole thing is working, you know. You get what you send out. You are what you send out. So this gets also into the hydra, into water, into the hydra, means the four-headed snake, or the four-headed monster, which you cut it off, you know. You cut it off and the other ones grow again, you know. This is basically what life is, the Ouroboros, you know. You try to kill it, you see like, oh shit, it still goes and moves on, you know. The wheel keeps on spinning. The pneuma, which gets into the materialized Holy Ghost of God, or the God's ghost, and maybe into, like, also into air and fire, which gets into the oven, alchemy again, and breathing, air, and into the electron, you know, Tron legacy, fluxing electromagnetics. Tron means also, which I didn't really know, means negative, and electron is negative, which is then connected to black, or connected to, don't get me wrong here, I don't say it, but the N word, you know, negative. I'm probably one of the, like, blackest persons in here, and I'm not racist by far, because that's, like, this belief system is completely off the edge, you know. But I mean, I'm racist probably because I was ingesting so much light that I was becoming so negative. You get that? because I'm ingesting so much melanin that I'm basically, because I'm so white, you cannot even see that I'm so black. All right, because I'm very intelligent and wise with the things that I put together. Black and white equals gray, so the wise ones. Wise dome. It's all about your mind, you know. Black and white is an illusion. So yeah, put that all together. That's basically the outlook. My why, you know, I don't know why I do that, but it seems like this is important right now. So this is why I'm one complete, holy, mystic. It's like it's always like I never go anywhere. It's about my perception. What should I do here? I cannot give you anything, but I can help you to develop your perception and your perspective. So this is what, in the end, I don't even know if your consciousness is real. Sounds tough, right? But how would I ever be able to be like, okay, you are real, and I'm not imagining this whole thing here. Oh, Jan, you getting far off the track here. But yeah, I mean, like, really, get into that mind frame. How could I ever be able, like, that you exist? How can I say that? I cannot say that. I can't say, let's say, like, okay, it seems to me that you're this type of being, not even persona, because you're not wearing a mask. You seem very truthful to me, but still in this realm, like, how could I ever be able that I'm not experiencing, or I'm just not dreaming all of this, and I'm just mirroring my own journey here? And if it's like that, it's fun. It's fun. Get kind of like goosebumps here, so it might be true. And in the end, I wake up somewhere else and I'm like, ah, I freaking told all of you. And all of you other beautiful beings around here which are supporting me, then you stand all around me and be like, Jan, you are a crazy one, you knew it. I'm like, yeah, but still, I'm thanking you from the bottom of my heart that you're going through all of this with me, you know? And if it's not like that, I'm completely losing my mind in here. But it's not, maybe not like that. I don't know. I just, my mirror was cracking too soon, maybe. Or it was cracking at the best holistic times, you know? It should crack right here, right now. All right? So I will continue mirror myself. I will continue mirror my journey. I try and I not try. I do, I walk the why to the 3-3, to the 3-3, and I take you with me. You know, I take myself with me. That's all I can take, basically. All I have. And I be transparent. I am transparent. I am truthful. I am compassionate. And I'm intolerant. I'm a tool to myself. I'm a tool to myself. Oh, that sounds crazy, right? Because I'm basically only the consciousness observing itself. How are you doing in here? Love you. Take care. Take CC. Alright, all left. Complete, holy, mystical. Truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance. Carrying in the heart space.